Hello, everybody. Welcome, friends. Thank you for joining us this evening. While we're waiting for just a second to make sure everyone can get in, drop a one in the chat if you can hear me okay. If the mic sounds all right, let me know if it's too loud, too quiet. How's it sounding out there? Thank you to everybody who's on camera right now. I appreciate seeing your faces right there. Really helps me keep going. We got ones across the board. Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this music here. I don't know if you guys were hearing that at all, but thanks for letting me know that it sounds great. I really appreciate you guys being here tonight. I'll go ahead and jump on camera. So, hi guys. I'm Kevin Winkle. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. A big hello to everybody in the room right now, and a big hello to the future for everyone who's going to be watching this on the replay. I've got a ton of valuable info to cover tonight, so make sure you grab a pen and a paper. You're going to want to take a lot of notes, and I promise it's going to be worth it. I've helped people get over $200,000 of down payment assistance in this last year. If I can help them, I can help you do it too. If you're just now joining us, welcome in, everyone. Get settled. And while we give everybody a moment to log on, do me a quick favor. Um, just drop a yes in the chat if everything is looking okay and sounding okay. And just let me know. Does the mic sound good? Is the video clear? Is everything going all right? Also helps me to know that you can find that chat feature. And for those of you that have already, Rachel, Nancy, Alex Blanco, Erica, Elisa, and Steven, thank you. Ginger, John, Alexander, Joey, Jose's iPhone 2, Nancy Wallace, Erica, thank you. Thanks for letting me know, Erica. I appreciate that. Let me know everything's good. You always got to worry about all the little settings, so I'm so glad. So thanks so much. Why don't y'all let me know where you're tuning in from this evening? Drop it in the chat. What part of town are we in? Are you currently in the Vancouver metro area? Where are you tuning in from? We got someone in Vancouver. We got someone in Portland. For those of you that are in Oregon, this is same information for both Oregon and Washington. We have similar programs, and actually most cities in the U.S. Have similar programs. I want to set the tone for tonight. So in this class, guys, I'm gonna help you to feel like you're in the driver's seat on this home buying journey, because that's the thing. I'm not here to hard sell you on something. I'm here to support you in what it is you're trying to get done. And that starts right now with a couple of questions. And so I want you to ask yourself this. Feel free to put it in the chat. Like, if everything lined up perfectly, where would you buy your home? Do you know where it is that you want to be at? If everything, like, where would you want to live? Battleground, Vancouver, Portland, Camas, Washougal? Who, where would you like to be at? And while you're thinking about this, who are you doing it for? Like, why? Why do you want to become a homeowner? Just because, like, someone said you should? Or do you have a real reason for it? All right. Ginger, Clark County, hate rent. Yes, stop rent. It's a conspiracy. You can pay the same amount of money every month and grow your wealth and equity over time. Elisa and Steven, Washougal, Jose's iPhone 2. I'm open. I love Washougal. It's one of my favorite places like on the planet. It's really like the gateway to the gorge. Love it. Love it. Multiple cats and despised pet rent. Ginger, I feel you. My cute little dog might come in and make a emotional service animal appearance through the night. So we'll see how that happens. And so I want to know. I want you guys to think about it. Uh, how do you feel? Like, do you feel nervous, excited? Be honest. Like, do you come ready to learn something new? Take a moment to answer in the chat. This is a safe, supportive space. Okay, no heckling, you guys. Well, you can heckle me, but don't heckle each other. And I want to make this session relevant, so as relevant as possible. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen right now, if that's okay. And welcome to everybody who's joined in that I didn't have a chance to greet yet. So good to have you all here tonight. For those of you who didn't catch that part, my name's Kevin Winkle, and thanks again for spending this evening with me. Can you guys see the screen share? Okay. You give me a 2 in the chat if you can see the screen share. All right. Thanks, guys. You guys are right on top of it. Zach, Elisa, and Steven, thank you so much. Ginger, I want to own my own walls. Yes, totally. Okay, Jose can see me. Cool. All right. So thanks for spending this evening with me. I want you to get comfortable, use the chat. You can say hi whenever. Let me know when you have some questions. I appreciate you being here and investing this time in yourself. By the end of this hour, my goal is for you to walk away feeling like way more prepared, like the most confident future homeowner in the PNW. And I've got a good track record of it, so I think we're going to get there. And so now we got to be real for a second first, though. Buying a home, it's a big move. It takes guts. And if you're not ready to ask yourself some grown up questions, like if you're afraid to look honestly at your credit, at your finances, or to make a real plan and follow through, then I'm going to be honest here. This webinar might not be for you. But if you're here to take control of your future, if you're here to make smart, empowered decisions about your own life, then stay with me till the end because I'll be sharing the number one cheat code that can help you finally become a homeowner. And honestly, getting your down payment paid for you is pretty helpful. And I've done that for so many people this year. So let's dive in and I'll help us all figure out how that is going to happen. As soon as I can, there we go. Okay. So, again, welcome everyone. I'm Kevin Winkle. I'm going to share with you all of the best practical, tactical, nitty gritty bits of advice I can give you about buying a home right now. Like, definitely, you want to avoid the mistakes, right? I don't know how you guys work, but that's how I work. I want to know how people screw things up and avoid that right off the bat. So, we're going to go into these five costly mistakes that get people all the time. If you'd rather talk about this stuff one on one, if you don't want to put your interest in or your situation in the chat, that's totally cool. We'll provide a link later that you can book a one on one free consultation. Got a ton of information to share with y'all. And just so you know, stack up your questions in the chat. I might not be able to catch them as we're flying through here. Like, looks like there was a couple comments. Erica said something, freedom is what I want. Also a backyard. Yes, Erica. But as you have questions, put them in the chat through the night. I'm going to come back to it at the end and go through the chat. We'll also do some live Q&A at the end of it. I got a lot to cover. I'm going to keep us on track, and don't worry if I don't answer your question right away. I'm going to save as much time for the Q&A at the end as possible, and we can also talk one-on-one if it helps. I'll go through. I will answer every single question that ends up in that chat box, and that's how we're going to run it this evening. So I don't know how you're wired, but I'm one of the people that when I go to spend money, especially big money, or try something new, I want to know the one thing, and that's how do people mess this up? Put a one in the chat if that's you too. Let me know if that's how you operate. Like you don't you want to know how it gets screwed up. Yeah. Zach, Ginger on the same page. Cool. Yeah, I kind of figured a lot of us kind of work that way, right? John, same thing, right? Okay. Uh, Pardon me, my screen's being silly. There we go. So I'm just going to call this How Not to Screw This Up. I've packed so much info into this webinar. I'm going to talk kind of fast. Apologies, but I'm going to try and get through it. There's just so much in there, and you're going to get your money's worth tonight for sure. Definitely. So stay until the end, and this is what I'm going to show you through the course of it. So, no surprises. You know what we're talking about. I'll show you how to fire your landlord and finally become a homeowner. I did it. You can do it too. Don't get left behind in this rent trap. Okay. Tonight, I'll show you how to access $10,000 to $30,000 of free money to cover your down payment completely. We do this time and again. The programs have been there for a very long time. We'd love to help with it. I'll show you how certain sellers will pay to break your lease and how to get a loan pre-approval with a mortgage broker. And spoiler alert there, that's just a little online application. We can even take the application over the phone. It's quite simple. I'll show you a full list of first-time homebuyer programs, and I'll show you my proprietary Cascadian battle plan that 80% of the time, it works every time. So by the end of this webinar, I'm going to show you all the steps to becoming a first-time homeowner. That way, you'll have all the insider secrets. You can make the best choice to achieve your goals with the least amount of headache. And if you're ready to take the next step, I'll tell you how to book a free consultation later. Now, I can only imagine most of you had a long day at work today. I know I did. and you might be juggling toddlers right now. So it's 100% okay if you want to keep your camera off. That's totally fine. But I do want this to feel interactive, and I hate feeling like I'm up here talking to myself. So I'll ask you to find the chat feature here on Zoom from time to time. Say hi, throw your questions in there. Rachel, Rochelle, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I see your hand raised, but if you have a question, throw it in the chat, and I'll get back to it later on in the webinar. So yeah, make sure you do get those questions in there because I will answer every single question. Chances are I might hit the question during the presentation. Now, by the way, I know everyone can't stay the whole time. And if you know that you want to connect with us and get your individual questions answered, if you want to find out what types of programs you qualify for and create a plan to purchase a home, I'm going to post a link in the chat box right now to get you guys on our calendar. That's what we do. If you want to sign up for down payment assistance and help to get your mortgage set up and figured out ahead of time, this is where you're going to get it. So I'll put it right there. Uh, Ginger, I see you had a question. I will have to get back to that. But thank you for putting it in the chat box, and I will come back to those at the end of it. I might just answer the question in the process. So there's the link. It's in the chat box right now, and yeah, very good. Go ahead and move on, Kevin. Next slide. All right. Okay. In fact, I do have a question for you before we get started, and I want your feedback on this one, if that's okay. Um, Let me know how you're feeling right now, like about this whole first time home buyer thing. Tell me in the chat. Are you concerned? Maybe about the lack of a down payment? Is this whole process stressing you out? Are you intimidated by the whole thing? Does it seem like it's really big and like impossible? So let me know. Are we feeling anxious about the big decisions? Are you uncertain? I'm gonna take a look in the chat and see how folks are feeling. Nancy feels uncertain. Yeah, it's hard to know what you don't know, right? Most definitely. Zach, it feels largely stacked against the usual person. Credit's kind of a conspiracy, and in a way, it is. And at the same time, we can navigate this. It's literally the American dream. Wow, everyone just pouring in. Okay, Marilyn feels nervous. Joey feels nervous. Jose is interested in how it works. Yep. John, uneducated about what's available for first time buyers. Nancy, I want this so bad. I haven't accomplished anything in life and need this. And Marilyn says, Portland. Well, you can absolutely do it. This is something that people go through every day, and I'm just here to help you get all the information so it doesn't seem so hard anymore. That's my whole goal tonight. I feel like the same information was kept from me, and now that I've got it, I'm kind of screaming it from the mountaintops. So I'm here to share that with you, and I'm not doing any gatekeeping. All right, this is my goal tonight. It's an easy one, too. I want you to feel in control and ease about this process. Like, not, you don't have to be nervous anymore. I want you to feel like, all right, whew, we got this. So here's the thing. I remember what it's like when I bought my first house. I was already a realtor at the time, and I remember buying my first home, and my mind was blown at how emotional and stressful and uncertain it felt when I was the one on the client side instead of the agent. See, if you've been stressing about this whole home buying thing, my goal tonight is to basically help you get the best night's sleep you've had in a while. This is way easier in 2026 than it's ever been. There's been all sorts of new developments that makes it so much simpler for first-time home buyers, and we're here to help. So make sure you got something to write with. You're going to want to take some notes in this for sure. And before I dive in, let me tell you why I care so much about this. Okay, I grew up right here in Portland. My family, we didn't have much. We had free lunch at school, we had hand-me-downs, the works. Now I live in Vancouver because I think it's the best place to live in the area. But owning a home, like that was something other people did, not us. We were broke. And honestly, back then, I didn't even know where to start, right? So I spent the first 30 years of my life not having a clue. And then it took another 10 years until I was in my 40s to figure it out. So you fast forward a bit. Now I've spent over a decade working as a handyman, just a regular guy with tools, fixing people's houses, fixing everything from leaky roofs and kitchens that look like they hadn't been updated since disco was cool. Like I learned a ton about how houses really work, how expensive it is when they don't work. And more than that, I saw something powerful. I saw that the people who owned these homes, they had stability. They had freedom and confidence that me as a renter, I just didn't have. So I couldn't stop thinking, why shouldn't more people like me have this same opportunity to own a home, to watch their money grow and not just disappear every month, right? So I made the jump. I became a realtor while still working on houses. Right? Just painted my mom's house for her the other day, or the other month. Sorry, not the other day. It was a few weeks back. We had a nice Indian summer though, so we were out there painting. Well, so now I'm a realtor, right? And I am owner of the Cascadian Realty Group, work with Keller Williams Portland Elite. Since becoming a realtor, I've helped hundreds of people buy and sell homes across Portland and Southwest Washington area. I've walked literally thousands of buyers through houses in just the past couple of years alone. And my favorite part of it is really helping nervous renters like I was turn themselves into proud homeowners. Because let's be real, nothing beats handing somebody their keys and seeing that, it's finally mine look on their face. Like, it's really good. So here's the thing, if I can go from a free lunch kid to owning my own real estate company, then trust me, you can go from renter to homeowner. It's not a very big journey. All right. You're already paying rent every month. So that's why I'm here tonight. I want to show you the exact path to make it happen. And if you're wondering what drives me, these are my kiddos right here. That's the two of them. Super proud of their accomplishments. They're adorable. I love these two. They're just amazing. Super proud of them. And I know that they're watching my every move. And that motivates me because I have to show them how to do things right. And I get to teach them about stuff that I didn't know about when I was growing up in hopes of giving them an unfair advantage when they grow up. So everything I do, all the late nights, every showing, every strategy session, it's fueled by the goal of building a better future for them and for your family too. And another way that I do that, in addition to real estate, I give back to offering free coaching and helping build businesses of my peers and my network and my community, helping startups and small business owners and independent contractors. And I do that because when we help each other to grow and I help others grow their income and expand their portfolios and build generational wealth, this is how we all win. More secure families, stronger community, more money that we keep within our families, and a brighter future for our kids and for your kids or your cats, whatever you got going on. So I just want to take a moment. I wanted to say thank you to my friends at Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation for sponsoring this webinar and for being the single biggest champions I have ever seen when it comes to helping first-time home buyers get their down payments taken care of, like 100% paid for. Last year, with their help, we got well over $200,000 in down payments paid for our clients. And we did it for them. We can do it for you guys too. So here's one of my favorite first-time home buyers, Steven, and one of my down payment assistance champions of a mortgage broker from Fairway. Many of you will get to work with Fairway Mortgage through this process, and they are absolutely amazing. They are just the whole process is great. There's a lot of reviews on Google. Feel free to look me up on there, and you'll see. So Steven here, he was in this exact same webinar last year, and he took notes, he asked questions, and with the help from me and my team, he became a homeowner. And there it is. That's the power of education followed by action. I love this work. Not just the contracts and closings, but specifically the transformation that happens when someone realizes, wait a minute, I can actually do this. That feeling of accomplishment, of finally breaking out of that rent cycle and stepping into ownership, it never gets old. We did it together. We can do it with you too. If my guy Steven can do it, you can definitely do it. And I'm here to walk you through every single step. All right. I'm passionate about this. It changed my life. And I know for a fact it'll change yours too. Just like it did for these folks. There's a whole bunch more buyers that we've helped. And home buyers like me a little, I guess. We got nothing but 5 stars on Google. I mean, seriously, type my name into Google. Reverend Denise Beard, Stephen Miner, Isabel. It's great. There's so many, so many. So enough about me. I just wanted you to know I'm not blowing smoke. I'm actually a real dude, local boy, still swing a hammer. This is legit. And here's what I've learned in over 10 years around this industry. Most buyers screw this up. Based on over a decade of doing this, I can tell you 90 plus percent of first-time home buyers end up in the wrong house and or the wrong deal. Our job today is to help you to see around corners. All right. So you're prepared. So you don't end up like that. So that you're absolutely ready to become a first-time home buyer here in the metro area. So just a real quick eagle's eye view, bird's eye. The 4 steps to home ownership. Step one, come to this class, learn everything, book your free consultation. It's going to help get you on the right track. Step two, you got to get pre-approved with the mortgage broker who's going to connect that pre-approval with the down payment assistance programs. If you do it in the wrong order, it doesn't work. Step three, that's when you launch the house hunt with your realtor, preferably me, but whoever your realtor is, love it if you work with me. If you don't, this information's still going to help you. All right. Realtors like us who deal with first time home buyers and help, like actually help the people, aren't just greedy. We do our own down payment assistance procedures during these negotiations. I almost always put an extra $10,000 in your pocket through the process of negotiations because that's just the way that we do it. And step four, get your keys and move into your dream house. So, victory. There it is. Bird's eye view. So, let's dive into the 5 biggest mistakes that first time homebuyers make and how to avoid them. Make sure you stick around to the end where I'll give you the number one biggest hack to help you crush your goal of first time home ownership and finally achieve that American dream. We do this every day. So, mistake number one. All right, let's just start here. First time homebuyers don't take advantage of first time homebuyer programs. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. So I'll say it again. They don't take advantage of the first time homebuyer programs. They just kind of wing it, walk into an open house. There's a whole bunch of stuff they do other than getting their ducks in a row early and taking advantage, right? So just raise your hand if you like the idea of leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. No one's going to raise their hand. They miss out on so much free money. It's ridiculous. If you guys can't stick around until the end, I totally get it. Make sure you schedule a free consultation so that we can sit with you and develop that roadmap to owning your first home. We'll go over your finances and debt, your affordability. We'll give you the confidence that you need to get everything in line so we can help you become the PNW's next first time homeowner. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat right now. So, 1 second here. And there it is. Okay. Erica's a little stressed where to start. If I can actually get my own house and stop paying someone else's mortgage. Yes, you can. You start right here. You're in the right place. Um, there and Ginger also found out about some fees associated with down payment assistance through WSHFC. That was buried in the fine print. Yep, we should totally talk about that. There are some of them, some of these programs that are kind of, well, it's kind of a challenge. It really, really is because some of them are straight up predatory. Nancy, yes, you can book a one-on-one. The link I had just put there in the chat. So if you open the chat feature on your phone, if you're watching, maybe you have to turn it sideways to make it pop up. But there is a link there. It says book your one-on-one call here. All right, moving along. Hopefully, I don't lose you guys too much in the process. I know it's a lot of information. So, first off, what is a first-time homebuyer program? There's actually a lot of them. There's a ton. Um, oh, it says it's not allowing you to book. Okay, let me just see. Let me go back one, and I'll put the address in the chat, other than just a link, if I can. Oh, it's not letting me do it. Sorry, guys, bear with me just 1 second while I try and provide the right link. Oh, well, there it was. That's the link. That's what the page will look like because I accidentally opened it. Okay, back to it. And I'm putting that in the chat just in case anyone's having problems. There we go. Hope that helps. So, first off, I want to know is your down payment, you're welcome, Nancy. Is your down payment a concern For anybody that's on this call, is anyone worried? Throw a one in the chat if you are worried about the down payment. If it's the one thing that's keeping you up at night about the process, where am I coming up with all of this money? That's a lot of ones, guys. I see them coming in the chat. Not the only thing, Ginger, yeah, but it's definitely one of them, right? Closing costs, all sorts of stuff. Okay, worried about down payment and credit? Totally. All right, good news. Good news. Listen, we've got plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D solutions to get you through all of this. There's totally a roadmap, and we got you covered. Let's go through some of it. So, what is the first time home buyer program? Look, there's literally no less than 10 of these programs in our area, and they're based on our situation. Right? Some of them are specific to the location of the home, like USDA loans. We see a lot of stuff about that. Some of them are dependent on your income. How much you make every month qualifies you for different things. Some of these programs require that you live there for a certain amount of time, like maybe 5 years or something. Some of them might have interest rates that are better than the market rates. And some of them are just 100% financing, like no cash out of pocket. There's a lot of them. Some of these programs are grants. It's a grant. That's just free money. You have to apply for it. And sometimes it works out great. Sometimes it doesn't. Some are based on what kind of job you do. So first responders, teachers, firefighters, police, doctors, hospital personnel. There's programs, so many types. Teachers. Some of these programs are in existence because of the bank's bad behavior back in the 1960s. Like, yeah, there's one in Washington. There's one in Portland where they'll pay a huge portion of your down payment for your house if your family has dealt with some things because of, well, institutional racism, to be honest. Some of these things are federal tax credits that pay you back every year for part of your mortgage interest. So, like, you actually get a much bigger tax return as a result of owning a house as opposed to renting it, because the interest portion of your mortgage is tax deductible against your income. So you get put into a better tax bracket. It's awesome. You might even be able to stack one on top of another. There's quite a few of them, different for absolutely everybody. So let me run you through a an example, right? Let's get down to the numbers and get real about it. Johnny wants to buy a home. The purchase price of that home, $500,000. The minimum down payment for an FHA loan is $17,500. And then you add back in the FHA upfront mortgage insurance cost that gets financed in with the loan. So you don't have to do that whole 80-20 rule. So total loan amount here, $491,250. The down payment assistance grant or a Washington bond program and the Oregon bond program, they'll cover 4%. That's $20,000. So it pays for the total down payment, and you sign up for this with us, and leaves $2,500 left for closing costs. So let's see the next slide for a mile-long legal disclaimer. There's a mile-long legal disclaimer. Of course, you got to qualify for a mortgage. You have to have work history and an income. And oh, hey, Veronica, I see you're able to get in. Hello. And to those of you on camera, thank you so much for being there. Ginger, I love the panda. It's awesome. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Jose. Hello, John. Thank you guys for being in the chat. I appreciate seeing actual humans sitting there. Okay. So now we're talking about these first-time home buyer programs. Let's talk about your bank. Now, most people's first instinct is going to be to go to the bank where they've got their checking account and apply for a mortgage loan right there. That makes sense, right? Like, fix up, look sharp, smile a lot, laugh a little bit, maybe lie a little bit, make it sound like a great idea to lend us some money. Might beg, plead, bring some offerings of donuts, just like we see it on TV, right? That's how you go about it. No. Let me just say no right there. That's a bad plan. Big banks, and not all of them, but most of them, big banks, they like to pretend that these programs don't exist. And so do most mortgage brokers, to be honest. They don't make any money off of it. So they're not really interested in helping you get money that isn't going to make them money. It's a bad business move for them. But that's not how we work, right? And also the sellers of the house that you're trying to purchase, they don't always want to see a letter from a big bank. They might just decline your offer outright or punish you by making the terms less favorable because they don't trust your lender. We've had some real problems with like the big name banks. I'm not going to call out any names, but there's a really, really good reason to go with a mortgage broker like anybody who works with Fairway Mortgage. They're absolutely phenomenal. There are some other great companies out there as well. But the big banks, it's not necessarily the way to go. So I'm just going to throw out an example real quick. Has anyone out there ever gone to the grocery store, done all your shopping, gone all the way through the checkout line, and then realized your wallet is at home on the nightstand across town? Anybody else? That ever happened to anyone else? I've totally done this. That's that I totally have. Throw a one in the chat if you've ever done that. Um, yes, Zach, totally. I'm not the only one, right? It's happened. It can be embarrassing. So that brings us to mistake number two. Buyers do the right things, but sometimes in the wrong order. So a few years ago, I got hooked on this TV show called Nailed It. I thought it was hilarious. Throw a two in the chat if you've ever heard of that one. So naturally, I got inspired. This show, they'd take amateur chefs and they try and do some kind of fancy dessert. And my son thought that I was totally able to do this, and he was dead wrong. But he thought, okay, dad can do this stuff because dad can do anything, right? So I got all hyped up. I got inspired. I decided to bake a cake from scratch. No box mix. I was feeling bold. So I head down to Winco, buy all the ingredients, get home, toss them in a bowl, mix it all together, just like I used to do with that good old Betty Crocker mix growing up. Because when you're broke, baking from a box is like gourmet, let me say. So here's the problem. I'm an idiot. I totally ignored the recipe instructions. I just looked at the list of ingredients and just threw them in. So I kind of failed to cream the butter and the sugar first, like it said. I didn't do it. I just dumped everything in, hope for the best. And give me like a three if you've ever screwed up this recipe as well. Throw a three in the chat. I'm probably not alone there. So what came out was still technically a cake, kinda. But Zach, totally. Thank you. Appreciate the support. This is what came out. It's technically a cake, but did I nail it? Yeah, nailed it, bro. That's a very hard no, my friends. A very hard no. So I want you guys to nail this home buying thing. I want you to stick the landing tens across the board. Like you followed that recipe with just absolute flawless precision. Buying your first home, it's a lot like baking from scratch. You can't just toss all the ingredients in a bowl and hope it turns into a masterpiece. If you skip steps like ignoring your credit score, skipping the pre-approval, playing realtor roulette on one of those big box websites, or not understanding down payment assistance, it's going to come out like my cake, a hot mess. You need a recipe. You need the right tools. And sometimes you need a coach in the kitchen saying, yo, cream the butter first so you don't end up with a soggy middle and a cracked top. And yes, I'm still talking about houses. Stick with me tonight. I'll make sure your home buying journey rises the way it should. Beautiful, structured, and ready to enjoy. So second off, let's be honest with each other for a second, since we're in this communication here together. What does it look like when someone starts off doing the right things, but totally in the wrong order? I'll show you. Go ahead and hit that chat box right now and put the word guilty in there if you've done any of these. All right, they stalk Zillow for 3 years. They disqualify themselves from neighborhoods that they think are not attainable. They get curious. Buyers might call on a few for sale signs, like call the listing agent. Or throw guilty in the chat if you've ever walked into a builder model or three to just check out the floor plans. Some buyers, they'll visit a few open houses just to catch a vibe, right? Erica, guilty. Totally. Me too. I did it way wrong. Right. Then ultimately, they'll finally get tired and just walk into the builder or walk into an open house and buy something for the listed price that's probably a bad deal. I mean, maybe they even let the listing agent help them write the offer. Spoiler alert, guys, that shark of a listing agent does not work for you. They work for the seller. Their job is to make a one-sided deal for the seller. The listing agent is not your friend. So, all right, chat, hit the chat box. Let me know if you've done any of those things. I know more than one of us probably has. So throw the word guilty in there if you can. And so here's what I've seen time and again, right? More than 90% of first time home buyers wind up in the wrong house. They wind up in the wrong deal. Yeah, chat, they got a house. And yeah, chat, they technically made a cake. But the real question is, did they nail it? No. No, they didn't nail it. Doing the steps out of order might feel productive, but without a clear plan and a professional on your team guiding you through it, you're way more likely to end up overpaying, underwhelmed, or stuck in the wrong property. So let's make sure you nail it for real. Like the first time, just nail it. Here's a perfect example of how to do the right things in the right order. This is Edwin and Olivia. These two are my daughter's age. All right. Both of them fresh out of college. They've only been working for a couple months on the job, but you can count schooling leading up to the job as time on the job to qualify for the mortgage, which I bet you didn't know. So it helped them qualify for the loan. They came to the webinar. They learned a whole bunch, listened to me carry on. They scheduled a one-on-one consultation with me. They filled out the super simple application with my lender in under 8 minutes. They got full down payment assistance using my first time home buyer champion of a lender from Fairway Mortgage. And who you might have seen earlier in the picture with Steven. We searched for houses within their budget, all right? Not just what's out there, but we had to look at what was in their budget. We wrote an offer, got it accepted for less than list price. And in the process, I got them a huge price break on the house. And I negotiated for the seller to put on a brand new roof and give them a home warranty and paid almost all the closing costs. Seriously, huge win for these two right here. Each one of them left me a 5-star Google review, and it's on there for you to check out. So mistake number 3. Here's the next one. Okay. They get sucked in by the builder's marketing machine. I get it. Let me be very clear. When you walk into a new construction site without your agent there to protect you, that's like showing up to a knife fight with a spoon. Like, seriously, it's wild. When you do it, you're going to meet one of two people. You're going to meet type one, this handsome fellow over here on the left-hand side. This dude's probably going to run for office someday. Smells amazing, talks faster than I do, suspiciously nice car, makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. This guy's going to say, oh, it's fine a lot when you're trying to ask real questions. And about 95% chance he's concerned about his quarterly bonus, leaving the other 5% to be concerned about you getting a good deal. Type number 2 is the super friendly sales lady who could talk to a wall and win the conversation. She's going to start off by talking about your dogs. The next thing you know, you're signing a 50-page contract for a one-time only deal today only. It's going to go away soon. She needs you to buy this house today because her job might be hanging by a thread or her broker's patience. Her knowledge of the builder's product is about 42%. That's generous. And she has about an 84% likelihood of bad commission breath. You're going to smell it before she offers you a bottled water and a cheap-ass granola bar. So, pardon my French. Let's make sure you don't get sweet-talked into a financial decision that you're going to regret. The builder's agent works hard for the builder, not for you. Okay? Do not go into that model home without representation, ever. It's like trying to defend yourself in court on a $500,000 lawsuit. Just don't do it. Make sure you're protected. And here's the truth. If you walk into that builder's office unrepresented, no one's looking out for you. The smiling salespeople are there to protect the builder's profit. They don't care about your best interest. The builder's contract is written by their lawyers, not yours. The prices on these homes is often inflated. The upgrades that you get when you go walking in are marked up, like way marked up. And the deal that they're offering It's not really a deal. See, they're going to do everything that they can to craft a one-sided deal in the builder's favor. That's literally what they're paid to do. All right, that's totally it. I'm gonna make sure I paste the link in there. I know I'm carrying on a bit. The link is in the chat right now. If you want to book your one-on-one consultation, I totally advise it. It's free. We can save you a lot of money and heartache and sign you up to take advantage of these programs. I'm telling you, we're just trying to hand out money for the most part. In that meeting there, we're going to build the roadmap to homeownership. You do not have to figure this out alone, y'all. Schedule your no pressure consultation with me and my team, and we'll sit down together and build that roadmap. We'll cover your finances and budget. We'll talk about your debt and credit situation. We'll talk about what you can actually afford and how to increase that because you can. We'll cover down payment assistance and programs that you qualify for, the exact next steps to take in the right order. So you'll know. We'll teach you how to break your lease with $0 out of pocket. You'll walk away with a game plan, seriously, for free, and real confidence in the tools to stop dreaming and start doing. Right now, builders are rolling out the red carpet for buyers who show up with their own agent. They get a better deal when they show up with their agent. And that agent needs to be someone who knows how to negotiate and win and knows new construction. Most agents have no clue about construction. They didn't swing a hammer for a long time. They can't tell if the house is built out of cardboard or granite. They don't know. And yeah, it's that extreme. Totally is. So let's make the plan. Let's help y'all to become the newest first time homeowner that there is. We're at number 3. Stick around. Make sure you stick until mistake number 5. That's the one that changes everything. But for now, let's talk about mistake number 3. And that's where people choose the house and they ignore the neighborhood, which is a major mistake. Oh, it looks good in the photos, doesn't it? But you can't see what's going on next door. See, they might walk into a house that's got brand new countertops, shiny floors, and a staged couch that makes you feel like your life is finally coming together. But the truth here is that quartz, it doesn't fix a terrible commute to and from work. A beautiful house in the wrong neighborhood is a fast track to regret. Seriously. One day those countertops are going to look dated. I mean, look at all the old tile countertops or Formica that are in houses now. That was like the bee's knees back in the day, and now we're like, ugh, get it out of here. Okay, if I see another orange Formica countertop, like seriously, you might end up hating it in the long run. That's all I'm saying. But that location is permanent, so you have to think: who are your neighbors? How's the traffic? How close are the people and places and things that you actually care about? What you want to do, how you want to live your life. Do you feel good there? Think about that, right? Think about this actually. What's going to make you happy in the long run? Is it going to be an amazing kitchen, bathroom? Doesn't matter. You can paint the kitchen, you can renovate, you can paint the walls, but you can't renovate the street. You can't move the highway further away from the house or the train. You can't remodel the school district. That is what it is. You can't flip the overall vibe of a neighborhood just because it's cute on the inside. So making sure you choose the right location is just as important, if not more so in the long run, than picking the right house. And I'll help you make that choice like a pro with like all the info. Okay. Now I'm going to be your best friend here. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You go into the builder, you see the gorgeous quartz countertops and those beautiful 48-inch cabinets go all the way up to the ceiling, and they're outdated by the moment you buy them. Obviously, it's important to be in love with your surroundings, but it can't be the only thing that you focus on. So on average, most people in our market, they only live in their home for about 6 years. And when they come back to me to sell it later, which they do, I ask them, what do you love most about living here? Nobody ever said the countertops or the pendant lights or the vaulted ceilings. What they actually say is that new Costco around the corner made life so easy, and our kids could walk to school from here, so we got to sleep in an extra 20 minutes every day, and they could just walk home. I didn't have to drive to the school to pick them up because they're not taking the bus. Or they'll say our neighbors watch our cat when we're on trips, and there's a police officer down the street. Feel safer. Or they'll say like the neighborhood really grew. Now there's tons of awesome shops and restaurants. Now my house was worth a whole bunch more money, and they get to sell it and take advantage of that. Yes, build the equity. That's what makes a home feel valuable. It's not necessarily the courts. It's not the barn door. It's the lifestyle, right? It's the people and the community. Yeah, it's totally the location and neighborhood. Jose, you're totally right about that. And yeah, the proximity to grocery stores and just whatever it is that you do with your life. If you love to kayak, why not be someplace that you can be not far from a boat launch? You got to think about those kind of things. Buy a life that you'll love, not just a house that looks good on Instagram. All right, it's a whole thing. So, what do we do? Here's how we do it. Now, we break it down these three ways. Even if you don't have kids, you have to look at the schools. It's crucial. All right. It's going to tell you what condition the neighborhood's in. There's usually a great schools rating on any of the listings that you see. And by understanding the quality of the schools, you can understand the long-term appreciation in the neighborhood. It's going to impact the property values. They drive the appreciation. You have to do your homework here. Next, we assess the appreciation potential based on the location. So we have to look for signs of scarcity. Is the area growing? Are there only a few homes available, or are there going to be a ton of homes built? Like these factors can make a big difference in your investment. Oh yeah, let's not forget about the neighbors, right? Like seriously, take a walk in the neighborhood, like knock on a couple doors. You would be shocked how quick people are to be happy to engage and tell you all about their neighborhood, why they love it, and who's the Snoopy one and what they hate about it. That way you get a feel for the area and for its dynamics and who you might be living next to. That's pretty serious. So just let that sink in. So right now, make sure you pull out your pen and paper. I want to say thank you again for keeping with me so far. If you can't hold through all the way to the end, I'll drop that link one more time right now down in the chat. And this is where you can book your one-on-one. So right now, we're going to get into the numbers. This is where people screw it up. They forget to dig deep enough into the numbers. They don't really know what the numbers look like or what it's actually going to cost and when. But you guys aren't average. You're here tonight to learn. You are following along and trying to educate yourselves. I got so much respect for that. So I'm going to give it to you full disclosure. All right. No gatekeeping here. Closing costs. That's a big thing most people don't understand. If we've heard this before, put a two in the chat if you have heard the term closing costs and are aware of them. I'm going to split these closing costs up into three groups. Okay. Erica has heard about closing costs. Okay. A lot of people haven't, and even then, sometimes it's hard to understand. So I'm going to make it real simple for everybody. Um, Last minute in the funding process, they said I need 27,000 in closing costs. Ginger, yeah, closing costs can be big. $27,000, totally. I've absolutely heard it. And dang, that must have been an expensive house. So I'm going to break it down into three groups so it's easy for us to swallow. Group A is fees from title, like escrow companies and the county, things like that. That's also the lender, rate buy downs, HOA fees. That's group A. That's the fees. Group B is one-time funding fees, which is only mostly for VA or FHA with the mortgage insurance, and that's upfront and it's wrapped in with a loan. C is prepaid taxes and insurance. You do have to activate homeowners insurance when you purchase the house. So you need to know that. There's also some taxes that you'll have to pay or prepay. 345. Okay. Ginger said the house they were buying was at 345K with $27,000 in closing costs. That is a horrible deal. You shouldn't buy that. And you should let me help you take a look at that because I'm sure we can get that looking a little better. Yikes. Wow. But there's the bad news about the closing costs. And we have a real life example. And Alex wants to know, how do we avoid HOAs? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't want to, but avoid the expensive ones. And we can get more into detail about that later. I'm kind of glad that HOAs exist in some neighborhoods, not as much in the one that I'm in condos. Those make it challenging. In some neighborhoods, they're not really that involved. They're just making sure people don't park piles of trash all over the street. But in some places, they're a real pain. So you got to get clear about that beforehand, and I can help you find out which types of HOAs aren't the devil and which ones are, and how to avoid them. We can get into that in a one-on-one chat for sure. So here's the bad news about these closing costs. They are expensive. 27,000 on a $345,000 house. That ain't right. It was like 12K on the one that we just closed that was at 450. So it's 12 to 18 depending. 27 is huge. That's nuts. But you guys don't have to pay it. So here's the great news. Let's have somebody else pay those closing costs for you. Now, if we were holding this webinar 4 or 5 years ago, when people were having their parents give them hundreds of thousands of dollars from their retirement accounts so they could pay way over asking price on a house, 2021, I would have told you, hey, you're going to need some serious cash to make this work. But thank goodness the tables have turned. And aren't you glad you didn't buy a house when everyone else was climbing over each other to do it? Nowadays, builders are rolling out red carpets. Even the resale sellers are helping pay for closing costs. They've removed the credit score requirement on the FHA loans. It's more about like what condition your credit's in and if you're paying your bills, not if you have high balances. There's all kinds of new programs that have just come out to make it easier, including some really cool credit repair programs that were just put into effect on a national level just last month. Really cool to be able to clear up your credit to be able to buy it. So it's not about the price tag, guys. When we're looking at the houses, it's all about the monthly payment, really. So if we pull back the curtain for a second, let's talk about how our brains work when it comes to money. I don't know how it works in your household. I'm not trying to make a claim on it, but in mine, we kind of budget based on what comes in every month and what we're comfortable with spending each month. So drop a one in the chat if that's how you run it too. Like you figure out how much is coming in and how much you're willing to spend on the way out. Let those go in the chat. Okay. Oof, could only have 3% seller concessions towards the closings. That's rough, Ginger. We need to talk about this more. Erica, Zach, you totally know what I'm talking about here. Totally. That's absolutely makes sense. So that's how we do our monthly comfort level expenses and figure it out, right? So here's the next piece of it, credit. You could put the word oof in the chat if seeing the words credit reporting made your stomach turn. Credit, it can be a sensitive issue. Like I get it, totally. I totally get that. So my expectation is this. If you feel comfortable sharing a credit related question in the chat, go for it. And if not, seriously, no pressure. There'll be time for that later on. And we're going to do live Q&A later on, don't forget. So let me ask you this. Does it feel like credit is a conspiracy that's working against you? Hey, Jose, over 800. Nice. Um, is good for Jose. I'm not there. So does anyone else? There's some funny questions going in there. All right. Does anyone else feel like the credit is a conspiracy? I feel like it is. Actually, I know it is. Like the system is rigged and the people making the rules are not inviting us to the meeting. You're 1,000% correct if you feel that way. You're not crazy. You are right. There is a system, and they haven't really informed us how it works. It's been built in a way that makes it easier to stumble than it is to succeed, unless someone takes the time to walk you through it. And here's what it looks like. Banks, lenders, scoring agencies, they profit when you don't understand the rules. And I don't think that's fair. The more confusing and mysterious credit is, the more you're going to pay in interest. And I don't think that's fair. They're not trying to ruin your life. They're just trying to make more money off of you. Also, not fair. See, the algorithm isn't measuring how good you are. It's measuring how profitable you are. So paying off two things like too early or not enough credit accounts open, those things can actually lower your score. What? Paying it off early and not having a bunch of cards can lower your score. Yeah, It's because you're less profitable. Nobody teaches us this stuff in school. And I don't think that's fair. And they know that. It's not your fault. that you weren't handed a playbook. Most people were never taught how it works. I had to work really hard to learn myself. And you didn't miss the class. There never was one, except for this one. It takes years of study and constant study of changing tax laws and tax codes for me and my team to understand it. So here's the good news. We understand it. There's a way to beat the game. It starts with understanding what credit actually is, how it's scored, and how we can clean it up and make it work in your favor. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, or just plain mad at the system, you are in the right place. We walk through this stuff together, step by step. No shame, no jargon, just real talk. So let me know in the chat, has credit ever made you feel like you're playing a game without the rules? Throw a yes in the chat if that has made you feel like you're playing a game that they didn't tell you all the rules to. I see yes. I see yes. I see yes. Totally. You are. And we're going to fix that because I'm not having that. Not at all. So, the first takeaway here in your path forward, do not allow someone to make a hard pull on your credit just yet. If your score is marginal, this could drop it several points, and that could result in your rate going up or even being declined for the loan. A soft pull on the credit, it costs the lenders more money, so they don't advertise it. Down payment assistance, it often costs the banks money, so they don't advertise it or they don't help to connect you with them. But my lenders with Fairway Mortgage, they have the solutions for all of that. And they will consult with you the whole way through. So you know exactly what's going on before anything ever happens. There's no surprises. We don't play like that. Second takeaway, don't be a hero. If you got something in collection, something overdue, something you haven't paid in a long time, don't just go rogue and pay it off. Okay. Talk to us first. Some guy went rogue last year and he still can't buy a house this year when he could have already been in it like 4 months ago, but can't because he went rogue and went to paying off stuff before consulting with us and listening to what we have to say. A lot of times it backfires. Sometimes, like going and paying off some of these things on your credit is like sprinkling a tiny bit of gas on a tiny little flame that's almost extinguished. And suddenly it becomes a much bigger problem. So make sure you run everything by our team first, bottom line. And we're not going to charge you to do a credit report at all. It's a free service from us. So now we're going to tell you a story about how to buy a home in a few easy steps. And I'm going to look at it through the lens of how much do you have to spend when at each of these steps. When we're done, you're going to have a good understanding of how much cash you'll need to put back to make this work. And we can always put an even sharper point on that exact figure one on one. So take notes on these 5 steps involved in buying a home in 30 days with the cost in mind. When we're done, you're going to have a list of the costs you'll need to plan for. Sound fair? All right, I'm going to run us on through. Step one, how much money do I need? Well, let's talk about who is going to be asking you for how much and when they will. First things first is you need to understand how much it costs to have the team get you in shape to buy a house. You got to be prepared. So let me know your best guess in the chat, you guys, of what my team's going to charge to consult with you to help you tune up your credit, to hold your hand all the way through and get you prepped and ready to buy a house and pre-approved and all that. Let me know how much you think we charge. Throw it in the chat. I see one person. Anybody else got a guess? What we might charge to consult with you, to run your credit, to let you know what steps you have to take and to make sure that you get pre-approved. All right, maybe you've been through this before. You guys are right. We don't charge anything. Joey, $100. Close. Close. Just drop the one. It's zeros, guys. Nothing. We don't charge to help you get ready to buy a house. Even if it takes a year or more, we're here for the long run. We are. The seller still pays the commissions in our market, and that's good for you. You don't have to come out of pocket. But we don't get paid unless and until we put keys in your hand at all. And this setup is ideal for you because it makes all of us extra motivated to nail it the right way. It really does. When we find that home that you want and we write an offer to purchase it, you're going to be asked to pay a fee within 3 business days of acceptance of your offer. So this is the earnest money deposit. So in our $500,000 home example earlier, the most common number you'll see for earnest money is 1%. It's $5,000 on a home of that price. It's usually just 1% of the sales price. This is a point of negotiation. Sometimes you can use a little bit less, but this is your skin in the game or a good faith deposit. So we're up to what, about 5,000 bucks we need to set aside? Yeah. Okay. Now there's a lot of activity at this first stage. The lender is asking for some updated documents. The title company, which is the third party legal company with the county, they guarantee that you get the clear title to the property, that it's in your name, that it's legally able to be sold, and also helps keep the whole process moving. They'll have some info for you to provide. And then, of course, we're on your case about making sure you schedule your inspection. So we got to make sure this deal has legs. So home and pest inspections, it's always a buyer expense, as well as secondary inspections like pool, if there is one, or a septic system, if it's got stucco, foundation plumbing, anything like that. These costs vary, and having an agent with a professional network of vendors is key, right? So let's say um, on average, probably 700 bucks on inspections or so, right? Now, if you have an agent like me who's done construction all the time, it's kind of like buying a car with a mechanic along with you. So you can check it out. We know what to look for, what the maintenance and repair stuff is. The major advantage. Now, step three is where you renegotiate the deal after you've done your inspections. All right. So, based on those inspection results, we're either going to one, terminate the contract, right? Tell them kick rocks and get your earnest money back, and we go find another property. Or two, we might pick 2 to 3 items for the seller to perform, and they have to fix those before closing. And they usually owe us receipts and warranties. It does need to be done by a licensed contractor. Or step three, we can negotiate an additional amount of money in credit instead of them doing repairs, because sometimes they don't have money to fix stuff with. But this credit, that will reduce the amount of cash you need to close, or we could use it to buy down the interest rate or to put in a new carpet or to get a new roof on it. There's lots of options there. Step four, it all goes quiet after you settle through the inspections for the last little bit of that period of 30 days. Usually it takes to close from when the offer is accepted. If we decide to move forward, you will get a request from your lender to pay for an appraisal. The average cost on an appraisal is like about $1,000, so let's call that $1,000. And right now we're at $6,700. That's a $500,000 home. That's most first-time home buyers are in the 350 to 450 range, but it can vary depending on what your income is. So we're at like 6,700. And although depending on what you decide with the inspections, you might be able to get some of that back, right? But this is not your cue to go buy a bunch of furniture. Do not go get a new car to go in your driveway before you close on the house. We all get the same itch. We want a new car. We need new furniture. We want curtains for the place. I'm gonna buy a shower curtain. We're gonna order the hot tub and finance it. You just gotta stop right there while we're pending on the house. It's pending. Stop. Not to get all super biblical on you, but here's a really long list of thou shalt not. All right. Don't change your job. Don't buy a truck. Don't use your credit cards all the way up while you're pending on a house. Don't spend that money you have for closing while you're pending. It's like a full pause. All right. Just pause on everything. So we can walk through these, talk it through step by step, figure out what the best steps are for you. I mean, buying a home really is a big deal. It can be overwhelming, and we're here to help. All right. So let's chat. We'll set up a free one-on-one consultation. We'll go over everything you need to know. Don't miss out. Make sure you get your appointment. Slots are filling up. They are limited. I'll put it in the chat right now. There's the link to go and book your one-on-one appointment. No charge for that whatsoever. We're not going to run your credit right then. Like, this is just information. I'm just here to share info. Now, step five is your remaining closing costs, and that part's kind of up to you. So if you tell us, hey, Kevin, I only got like 10 grand that I can use for this, that's my limit, we're going to make it work within those boundaries. Like, we're going to go and find a seller who can help cover some or all of those closing costs. My last two clients that purchased a home did it for less than $5,000 cash out of pocket. And that $5,000, most of it was just applied right to their purchase, right to the principal. So they didn't spend $5,000. They put their $5,000 into equity, into forced savings. It's awesome. So we might have to look at a couple different houses or talk to multiple sellers to see one that's going to help us with the closing costs. But that's what we do. We negotiate all of this up front. So there's no last minute surprises. None of this like, hey, actually, we need you to bring more cash to closing. Like none of that. We don't do that. Then we head to the finish line, closing day. You pay your down payment, or if there's any portion left of closing costs, you cover whatever is not handled by the seller or the grant, and then you get your keys. So if you're using down payment assistance or a grant, make sure you sign up through us. We can totally get you connected with that. We've negotiated all the rest of it with the seller by that point. Your total out-of-pocket investment could be as little as like 5,000 bucks or less. In some cases, now it is better to have extra cash on hand. The bank does like to know you have some cash, just in case something goes sideways, you've got backup. And in some cases, you might even get some of that money that you put up initially back at closing. I've actually had people walk away from the closing table with the check just because we negotiated it correctly. So let me leave you with this. The average net worth of a homeowner in the US is about $250,000. They've been paying their rent to themselves for the last few years. Most of them on average, if they've been there for a while, they've got about $250,000 in equity. I can't save up that much. I don't know about you, but saving $250,000 would be really hard. But appreciation can do that for you, like within just a couple years. Oh yeah, and the average net worth of a renter is about 6,000 bucks. So if you don't own your home, you're likely paying someone else's mortgage. So let's change that. Now, my job is to help you move forward confidently and without confusion. I mean, honestly, I'm going to have maybe a couple dozen transactions in a year, but I'm going to have thousands of conversations with real people like you and me who need real information to get them where they're trying to go. And so my real job, since I'm not storing up my treasures on earth, storing them someplace else, my real job is to help people get the real information to get them where they're trying to go. If you work with me, if you don't work with me, listening to what we have to say in the consultation is going to save you, if not make you, tens of thousands of dollars in the process. So it's definitely going to be worth your time. Make sure you click the link in the chat to schedule your free consultation, and we can talk about how we can make it happen for you. We will build your roadmap to home ownership. You don't have to figure this out alone. Just schedule a free, no pressure consultation with me and my team, and we'll sit down together and lay out the plan. We'll hop on Zoom just like this. You don't even have to have your camera on, and we can just chat about it. We'll cover finances and budget. We'll cover your debt. We'll talk about your credit situation, how to fix it if we need to, what you can afford, and how to increase what you can afford. All right. We'll talk about the down payment assistance programs, which ones you'll qualify for, and we'll connect you with those. We walk you through every step of the process. And we'll go through the exact next steps to take in the right order. You're going to walk away with a game plan with real confidence and with the tools to stop dreaming and get the keys to your new place. For real. So here it is. Here's the number one. Thank you guys for sticking with me this far. Not much. I just got a couple slides left and we go to the live Q&A. And this right here is the number one thing people fail to do, that if they got this right, all the other mistakes would fix themselves. And it's this: they don't hire a gladiator. They hire some rando that they clicked a button and got sent to, or they hire like their friend's cousin who's done 2 transactions in their life because their friend knows them because it's their cousin. That's not the way to go. Look, contrary to how it looks on HGTV, my job is not to show you houses. That's like 2% of what we do. Actually, the real work goes on with all the people in the background on those shows, not the people that open the doors. Like, seriously, any dummy can open a door. And honestly, I might have to have any dummy open a door for you just so you can take a first look at a property before we really get into negotiations. But my job, my real job, not this junk you see on TV, is to pick up that sword and fight for you. And that means to negotiate hard. And sometimes we get a little bloody in the pursuit of getting you the best deal. That's okay. My job is to keep you from ending up in the wrong house and in a bad deal. All right. I'm going to throw myself right in front of the bus. I'm going to say, stop. For the love of God, do not do this to yourself. So throw a one in the chat if that would be helpful to anybody to have someone who's willing to jump in front and be like, no, absolutely not. Don't do that. Yeah. Zach, Erica, seriously. Like, I do not want anyone to buy the wrong house. I want you to not buy a house if that's the case. Like, I don't want you screwed up in this process. And I know most people would be like, what? Is this guy serious? Like, yeah, I'd rather you don't buy a house if it's going to be the wrong one. I would like to help you find the right one and prove that it's the right one before you put your hard earned money into it. Right. Thank you. That looks like many of you find that helpful. Yeah. Erica, I've made a lot of bad mistakes myself, but I'm over them at this point. Like, we're going to do stuff by the book, full disclosure, and it's about teaming up and seeing the right outcome for you and your family. So I'm going to be bold here. I'm just going to be completely honest. I want your kids to go to a better school than you did. All right. I want you to make the best decisions that you possibly can. I want to help you make what you thought was impossible possible. Wouldn't be the first time this year I've done it. I want you to put on more equity on your home faster and retire earlier because we got into the right deal in the right neighborhood and did it by the hair on our chinny chin chins, like just squeezed in there. I mean, seriously. And in the end, I want you to be an insane raving fan and tell everyone you know how good your realtor was and that they need to fire their realtor and call Kevin. So there it is. Just bold, no kid gloves, um, just upfront from the heart. Seriously, no punches are being pulled here. Full gladiator mode activate. We absolutely fight for our people and would love to do the same for you. When someone says something is impossible, I don't believe them. When they don't believe, we don't believe that the inventory that's in the MLS is the only inventory. We got access to off-market properties all the time. If we don't see for what you're looking for in the MLS, we'll go and find it. All right, we absolutely will find it. We're going to call in favors. We're going to add additional homes to view that aren't on the market. We're going to knock on doors, whatever it takes to find the right property. We're going to negotiate really hard with people. And some of them are really difficult to negotiate with, like seriously grumpy old folks that are just trying to hold on to every penny. And I get it. It's their equity. They should be able to hold on to it. But we do need to deal with them and work with them to get a good result in the end. And in the process, I'm probably going to drink a ton of Celsius and analyze every listing in the search area like a couple times a day until we find the exact one that we can get inside of your monthly budget. Is every tactic that I use going to work? Hard no, absolutely not. But I will pull out all the stops until this problem submits. And here's what I look like afterwards. Yeah, handsome fella, right? A little bit beat up. We go rounds. And here's what you'll be looking like when you're done. This is Carlos and Michelle, and a member of the Fairway Mortgage team. They came to this exact same webinar just a couple months ago. They interacted in the chat just like you've been, dropping ones and twos all over the place. They booked a one-on-one consultation, filled out the 8-minute application to work with me and my lender, and are now living in their brand new construction home. This place is gorgeous. They actually had a $0 down payment, less than $4,500 out of pocket to close on the deal. Oh, yeah, and the second month is free. There's no mortgage payment in month number 2, by the way, which is awesome. Most people didn't know that. So I promise, if they can do it, you can do it too. And they even left a lovely Google review. So make sure you guys book that one-on-one consultation. And now we've got through that. I want to know, how do you feel now? You guys, you've listened to me carry on for quite a while. Are you any less concerned, maybe less stressed out, a little less intimidated by the process? less anxious, less uncertain. How do you feel? Please find the chat right now and let me know how you feel after running through all of that. Nancy, ready to get this started. Great, Nancy. I look forward to meeting with you in our one-on-one and helping you to get this process started. Jose is ready. Ginger, nope, still concerned. I've heard this before. Ginger, I really welcome a conversation. I would love to hear about your experience and help you to see any other options that there might be for you because they're there for sure. And that last minute move that happened to you, that's awful. Totally awful. Merlin, can't wait to learn more. Ginger, I already booked the consult. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Seriously, I want to hear more about that deal that went so sideways. Joey still concerned? Not quite sure yet. Sure, legit. I absolutely would love to help you get your questions answered. I want to hear more about what it is that you're concerned about and see if we can't meet that with actual knowledge and information that's going to help you get where you're trying to go. Um, okay, Jose booked consultation for tomorrow. Cool. I'll see you there, Jose. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging in, hanging in. Now that that's the end of this, just want to ask you a couple questions to think to yourselves. Was this webinar worth your time? I hope it really was. And it just think to yourself, do you feel more confident after you've attended this training? I really hope you do. And do you feel like you now have a significant advantage in buying your home? Zach says yes to all that. That's great. And do you feel more prepared to navigate this real estate market and kind of know what you're up against? Elise and Steven, most definitely. Alex Zander, 100%. I love this. I totally love this. And do you believe that these strategies we've discussed can help you to achieve your real estate goals? I think so. Alex signed a 12-month lease for a townhouse. Would I have to wait until next year at the end of the lease, or should I start looking into it now? Alex, I can actually often negotiate with the seller to pay your lease break fee or at least to allow us to finance it in with the deal. So you're not trapped by your lease. And definitely start looking at it as far in advance as you can, because the more prepared you are, the easier the transition is going to be. Right? Don't wait till the last minute to get the ball rolling. Start the conversation early. And if you guys would like to spend more time with me, where my team and I are personally invested in your success, you can find that link in the chat. John wants to know, can your team help if we have a property we want to buy from a friend? Yeah, absolutely. I help all the time with those kind of situations. Here's the link, you guys, if you don't have it just yet. I'm going to start here in just a second and go through a Q&A. So the only thing I'm asking of you, let's book this conversation. You got to let us know what you really want, what it is you're really after. And that's how we can figure out how to make that happen. Kind of go backwards from what's the life you want to live? Where are you trying to be at? What do you want to experience in this process? And then we can make that come together. So make sure you hit that link. You can take a screenshot of this right now. If you haven't, save it for later. The appointments are limited. Once they're gone, they're gone. So this is your chance to take that step forward, get your own home, fire your landlord, even if you just signed a new lease, doesn't matter. My job is to help you to the best of my ability to finally become a homeowner. All right. We just got to get prepared and set on the path. Doesn't matter how long it takes. So make sure you sign up for that consultation. And that's about that piece that I have right there. Now, I told you guys to stack up the questions. Now's the time. If you got more questions, throw them in the chat. I'm going to cruise back through. Merlin, need help looking for a home? Absolutely. That's exactly what we do. We scroll the listings all day, every day. So I'm going to pause the screen share. Hopefully you got that. You guys have the link to book. I'm gonna go back through. If anybody has a question, throw it in the chat box now, and I'm gonna read through some of these and see if I can answer them. Uh, Erica, appreciate your time. I booked for Tuesday next week. I'll see you then. Yes, you will see me then, Erica. Thank you so much for your participation in the chat this evening. It is greatly appreciated. Does anybody have a question you'd like to ask? You can raise your hand and I can call on you there. Otherwise, I'm just going to scroll through this chat box. Let's see here. There was the one, can your team help if we have a property we want to buy from a friend? Yes, we can mediate. Jose wants to know about foreclosures. Yes, we can absolutely take advantage of foreclosures. It's a little bit more challenging to do down payment assistance along with the foreclosure, but if you do have cash for the deposit, we get the all the lending in place first, and then find the property. So if we can figure out exactly how the loan will work, then we can find properties that will fit with that loan for your budget that you qualify for. So yes, we do those. We do a lot of those. There's also a lot of short sales that are happening at the moment. We navigate those quite a bit. And we also search for off-market properties. If you have a specific area that you want to live in, we do ADU building, we do new construction, we do pretty much the whole range. Okay, Joey, what are short sales? Short sales is when the property owner has to sell the home for less money than what they owe on it. Like, say they bought it just a couple years ago, brand new, and now they can't sell it for the same amount that they paid for it because they paid an overinflated price with the builder. And but they have to move because they got transferred to another state. They have to do what's called a short sale, which has to get negotiated with the bank. So the bank will take less money than what's owed on the home in order to transfer ownership. So there's quite a few of those that pop up at the moment. For more information about that, we can go over it more in a one-on-one consultation for sure. Alex, what if I want to buy a duplex? I think that's a brilliant idea, Alex. That's one of the best ways that you can go about it because you can count 75% of the rent of the other side towards your income to qualify for the loan. So that's really helpful. It can definitely drop the amount that you have to spend each month for your mortgage. There's not always a ton of them available on the market. A lot of the duplexes that are available are older or in tough condition, or maybe the rents aren't actually performing that well, which is usually why people would sell it, or it needs a lot of work and they don't have the cash to put the work into it. So, yes, you can buy duplexes. You can buy it with an FHA, and you can also buy it with an FHA renovation loan, which is the 203K FHA renovation loan that some folks have heard about that can do all the work to the place and finance the amount for the work that needs done and base it off of projected rents on the other side. So there's actually a lot of opportunities with that. The most opportunity right now is in the space of ADUs. So if you can purchase a property and in that purchase have an ADU built on the property, which is a accessory dwelling unit, like some will call it a mother-in-law house or just a tiny home in the yard, you can increase the value of your property and start to collect rent, which lowers the amount you have to pay for your mortgage. So that's kind of cool. So there's a lot of those options going on right now. House Bill 2001 created all the new middle housing laws, and they're really, really hoping that we can do more duplexes or turn a single house into a duplex or add more units any way that we can. So that's definitely something we specialize in, and would love to talk to you more about that in a one-on-one a little later on. Uh, Oh, wow. I didn't know you can use anticipated rent payments towards income. Yes. And it works well on duplex or multifamily up to 4 units and below. So it can be a really good way to go. It's a good way to qualify for a better property. Yeah, really cool. John, is there grants for nurses for down payment assistance? Yes. And also, how do you know if an HOA is worth it? John, there are grants and processes we go through for nurses, doctors, first responders to give them a more favorable edge. Veterans, all the people that serve the community, we serve back. I'm part of the American Warrior Initiative. We also help with vets, paramedics, doctors, anybody that is really there helping to serve the community in that sense. There's some extra stuff that we can do to help lower their interest rates. There's some grant programs for different down payment assistance. There's a lot that can actually be done. I know there's a lot of relocation that happens with that as well. Sometimes you have to move to another state for hospital, for a job at a hospital or something like that, and we can help with end-to-end relocation through the whole thing. So, love to chat more about it. If you have more questions, please definitely book that one-on-one consultation, and we'll dig into it more there. Let's see. Okay, I'm going for another one. Uh, John. Okay, that was John's question. If anyone still has questions or I missed any of it, please throw it in the chat and I'll make sure I get to it right now. I didn't see the hand go up on anyone, but if you do have some, go for it. Um, oh, there is the question. How do you know if an HOA is worth it? Totally. Good question. In my opinion, it has a lot to do with how much the HOA is. So with condos and stuff like that, we've run into an issue where the HOA cost has gone up, 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 and up in just the last couple of years, which is really tough for folks who are retirement age or living on a fixed income. So if you have like a condo building, it's got some elevators or something like that in there, that HOA can be very expensive and problematic. You're definitely paying for luxury. Some HOAs that are like really low, like less than 150 bucks a month, they're just making sure people don't park a whole bunch of work trucks, like a whole fleet of ladder trucks or something, on the street, or making sure that they aren't piling garbage in the yard or painting their house a hideous neon purple or something. I personally like neon purple, but that's me. Not everybody's going to like it. So, and sometimes nobody likes being told what to do. I'll be honest there. We don't like that. We don't like the control that the HOA tries to institute. But at the same time, part of their job is protecting the home values in the neighborhood. So if the HOA just let people pile up junk cars outside and had tons of trash in the yard and you got like hoarder houses all around, that actually pushes the value of all the rest of the homes in the neighborhood down. So in a way, they're actually there for our protection. And you can usually tell exactly how horrible they are by how much the HOA costs. If it's very minimal, it's going to be very little. They'll also keep tabs on like if rentals are allowed in the neighborhood. Like say after a few years you want to buy or build a bigger house and you want to hold on to the one that you have and then rent it out. Well, it's nice to know that before you're going in, so you know if later you can just keep that house or if you need to sell it before you get to the next one. So there's a lot of nuance to it. I really hope that that is helpful in some way. And if there's more questions about those subjects, please feel free to click the link to book a one-on-one consultation. All right, I'm going back in here. Let's see what else do we got in the chat. I don't understand why someone would buy a condo. Aren't they just glorified apartments? You know what? I totally bought one, and I can tell you why. One of them is it has to do with exterior maintenance, how much you do want to be in charge of having to mow your own lawn or having to pay your own landscaper. So there's that. Another one is with communities that have specific guidelines. It can be, well, it can actually be a good thing. They keep problematic residents out of there. Also, condos, if you don't want to have as much square footage, you're trying to have someplace smaller, or you need a second home someplace. If there's like someplace you travel to a lot for work, you should totally buy a condo there and then do midterm or short-term rentals to augment on the times that you're not there. I like it because it's minimal input. Being able to have someone else in charge of all the exterior, as someone who did like landscaping and stuff for a decade, I'm telling you, that's priceless to me. I do not want to push a lawnmower ever again if I don't have to. I just don't want to do it. I'd rather do other stuff when I'm not at work than work on my house. For some folks, they just want to be in the garden all the time. And if that's the case, then a condo is not for you. But it really depends how you want to live. And that's why. So it's not the choice for everybody, but for some folks it is. And if a condo is the only thing that you can afford at the moment, while equity grows and you're trying to stack money and maybe later on down the road can buy a house, you are way better off owning a condo and paying yourself your own mortgage for the next 5 years than you are just blowing your money on rent. Because all that money that you pay on your mortgage, you keep the part of the principal that you paid down. You get a write off for the interest portion against your income. So you get a much bigger tax return and you get the appreciation. 5 years from now, that condo is going to be worth a lot more money than it is the day that you bought it. So you get a lot more money plus whatever you paid down. It makes perfect sense. If a condo is the only option, go for it. Most definitely. And we can help to evaluate if that really is the right move. It's not for everybody. Um, let's see. It's a condo and $500 a month. They cover siding, roofing, landscape, water, sewage, and trash. Is it a good idea to buy a condo as a first-time home buyer? I did it. Yeah. It totally can be. If you can't purchase a standalone house, I mean, a single family, three bed, two bath is the most stable investment vehicle in the country. Always has been, always will be. And if you can't afford that and you need a step before you get to that, then yes, condo, absolutely. The $500 a month, like every year you should, regardless of how big your house is, if your house is less than 750,000, you need to budget $5,000 to $7,000 a year to save or to set aside for potential maintenance. Now that ends up typically being a lot less if you just set it aside, and then if you don't need it, you keep it to your money, right? Also, a lot of that maintenance is tax deductible. So you're gonna have to do a roof every so often. Water heaters only get so old. Furnaces need to be replaced. And a lot of these places don't actually have air conditioning built into them because they didn't believe in global warming in the 80s and 90s. They just caused it. So, but I digress. Pardon me if I overstep there. The it is worth it if it's worth it to your lifestyle to not have to be bothered with the other stuff. For a lot of busy professionals, the second that they get home from work or people that work like 60, 80 hours a week, like they just don't want to have the extra tasks. So it's worth it to them to pay $500 a month to have all that covered instead of having to pay 200 to your landscaper, set some aside for all the extra external repairs, to pay for a security company, pay for all these other things. Sometimes it makes sense, but not always. So case by case basis, a lot has to do with your financing. Also, certain types of condos requires a higher down payment, like 10% if it's in a big condo building, and the down payment assistance doesn't cover that. So I don't think the people who are utilizing down payment assistance are necessarily in the best position to purchase a condo. You're better off with a townhome. It's a different classification and the appreciation is better. It's a higher quality materials and you can often find those around the same price without having the larger down payment. Because if you're in like a big building with like 200 apartments or 200 condos, there's more liability because of all these other units and who knows what these other residents are going to do. So the banks don't like to allow them to be financed for such a low down payment. They want you to have more stake in the game. If you don't have stake in the game, you might not take it as seriously. That's the way they see it. So it's different from one condo to another. Some of them are a great deal and a really good plan. Others really aren't. And unless you have somebody who's like been through it, knows what to look for, you can end up in the wrong one. So I'd love to help you evaluate whatever you got going on and see if it actually is a good fit for you or if maybe we should look at some other options. I hope that answers the question. Thank you guys so much. I've been carrying on and on this evening. I appreciate everyone's time. I know it's highly valuable. I hope you got some good information this evening. I'll throw that booking link back up. If there's any more questions, throw it in there, and I'll see if there's anything else I didn't answer yet. Looks like a lot of folks from tonight have booked um, a one-on-one, so that's really good. Jose, thanks for hanging in with me all night, buddy. I appreciate you. Looks like we got one new. See you tomorrow. All right. And put that share back up for anybody else. Feel free to respond to those text messages. If you have any questions, it goes right to my cell phone. Again, Kevin Winkle, Keller Williams, Portland Elite. I appreciate y'all, and I wish you the absolute greatest of fortune on your first time home buyer journey. Thank you. Have a good night. Elisa and Steven, thank you so much for tuning in with me tonight and sitting with me through this. I really hope we get the chance to talk. I would love to connect you with down payment assistance and help you get your down payment completely covered. Thank you so much. Have a good night, you guys.